groups and Facebook, and it's here in the chat too. Do you have it, Alicia? Yeah, perfect. Okay, I'm just going to send. We're on chapter 3, page 40. That's where we're going to kick it off today. Yeah. And if anybody's happy to volunteer reading, feel free to even write it into the chat, like happy to read next or whatever, so we can have some good flow. Yeah. Yay.
All right, I'll just quickly chant some glorifications to the great teachers who have brought us to this arena, or their grace and divine dispensation in the world, helping us. Om Agyanatamanandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshun Malatam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gavabhashtasporakam Guru Ganara Shishya Sambhushitam Chanchichancha Samashtavena Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanugam Govindavidam Udvalam Varatunam Bhaktan Vitam Shandarim Vande Vishvagurun Chitipya Bhagavat Premnohi Bichavadam Devam Devitanam Suchandavanam Balakachalam Chitam Sandanandaparam Sarekva Varak Vakiranam Budam Siddham Shri Siddhantanam Sabhaktalashitam Sarasvatanam Param Vanditam Shavaram Merikasanam Vishishvaram Shri Dharam Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Swami Shri Bhaktivedanta Prabhuvataya Te Namaha Guravagnam Sharashadricha Shakya Vaishasvarupane Hare Krishna Te Mantrana Praschacha Prachatarane Visvachara Pavayar Devakaranamurtaye Shri Bhagavatamatuya Gitigana Pradayane Gaura Shirupa Shidanta Saraswarina Shevane Radha Krishna Paramboja Brangaya Gurave Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sundaveva Cha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shiva Sri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Shri Guru Dev Ki Jai, Shri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. So, is it chapter 3, right? The most intelligent woman.
I can read.
Yeah.
Okay. The most intelligent woman. Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalat Manam Bhakti Yoga Vidanartam Katam Pashyema Hi Striyaha. You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators, who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly? Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.20. Even the greatest philosophical speculators cannot have access to the region of the Lord. It is said in the Upanishads that the supreme truth, the absolute personality of Godhead, is beyond the range of the thinking power of the greatest philosopher. He is unknowable by great learning or by the greatest brain. He is knowable only by one who has his mercy. Others may go on thinking about him for years together, yet he is unknowable. This very fact is corroborated by the queen, who is playing the part of an innocent woman. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and the almightiness of the Lord. And thus, they offer obeisances without reservation. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special favor only to one who is a great philosopher. He knows the sincerity of purpose. For this reason, only women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that the women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious fervor. Kunti Devi prayed to the Lord very submissively, and this is the symptom of a Vaishnava. The Lord Krishna had come to Kunti Devi to offer respect to her by taking the dust of her feet. Because Krishna considered Kunti Devi his aunt, He used to touch her feet. But although Kunti Devi, a great devotee, was in such an exalted position, practically on the level of Yashoda Mai, Krishna's mother, she was so submissive that she prayed, Krishna, you are meant to be understood by the Paramahamsas, the most advanced transcendentalists. But I am a woman, so how can I see you? According to the Vedic system, there are 4 social divisions. Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishtam. The highest members of the social order are the Brahmins, those who are intelligent, and then come the Kshatriyas, military men and administrators, the Vaishyas, farmers and businessmen, and finally the Shudras, ordinary laborers. One's place in the system is determined by one's qualities and work, guna karma. The Bhagavad Gita mentions Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudraha, and the Srimad Bhagavatam speaks of Shri Shudra Dviha Bandunam. According to these references, women, Shudras and Divya Bandhus, or is it Dviha?
Dvija.
Dvija.
Yeah.
Dvija Bandhus are considered to belong to the same category. The word Dvija Bandhu refers to one who is born in an exalted Brahmin or Kshatriya family, but who has no qualifications of his own. One's social standing, according to the Vedic system, is determined by one's qualifications. This is very practical. Suppose a man is born the son of a high court judge. This does not mean that he himself is also a high court judge. Yet because one happens to take birth in a Brahmin family, even if he has no qualifications and is a rascal number 1, he claims to be a Brahmin. And although his qualifications are less than those of a Shudra, people accept him as a Brahmin. This has caused the downfall of the Vedic civilization. The Brahmins in India are sometimes very much against my movement because I train and accept Brahmins from Europe and America. But we do not care about their arguments, nor will any other reasonable man. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Pritivite acheyata nagaradi grama sarvatra prachara haibe mora nama. In every town, city, and village of the world, the Krishna consciousness movement will be preached. How is it, then, that Europeans and Americans will not become Brahmins? In fact, one who comes to Krishna consciousness has already surpassed Brahmanism, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityatyan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who takes to Bhakti Yoga surpasses the modes of material nature and comes immediately to the transcendental platform, Brahmabhuta. Not to speak of becoming a Brahmin, the person who fully engages in Bhakti Yoga attains the highest transcendental platform. The stereotyped, crippled idea that only a person born in a Brahmin family can become a Brahmin has killed Vedic civilization. But now we are reviving the correct understanding that the attainment of perfection is meant for everyone. In Bhagavad Gita 9:32, Lord Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi shuha papa yonaya or yonyaha striyo vaishyas tata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be low-born, women, Vaishyas, or Shudras, can approach the supreme destination. Thus, although women, Shudras, and Vaishyas are ordinarily considered to belong to a lower class, when one becomes a devotee, he or she goes beyond such designations. Women, Shudras, and Vaishyas are ordinarily regarded as less intelligent, but if one takes to Krishna consciousness, one is the most intelligent. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna ye bhaje se bada chatura. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, E rupe brahmananda brahmite kona bhagyavan jiva. Guru Krishna Prasad Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. Should I keep going or?
Yeah, well, the translation, or at least read the translation to that verse. Okay. Yeah, E Rupa Brahmanda Brahmante Konda Bhagavanji, Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Bija, because that's a very important verse for them.
Okay. Among all the living entities wandering throughout the universe, one who is very fortunate receives, by the mercy of the spiritual master and the mercy of Krishna, the seed of devotional service. C.C. Madhya 1951.
I think it's only, what is it? Just go a little further and then we'll recap.
Okay. The Krishna consciousness movement does not consist of wretched, unfortunate men. No, it consists of the most fortunate. One who has taken to Krishna consciousness is to be considered the most fortunate because he has found the way to act so that his life will be perfect. One who is Krishna conscious and discharging his duties nicely is the most fortunate and the most perfect. This is humbly stated here by Kunti Devi. Although Kunti had the body of a woman, she was a devotee. Therefore, she was not like an ordinary unintelligent woman. Rather, she was the most intelligent, for she recognized Krishna to be the supreme Godhead. He has come to me to offer me respect, materially appearing to be my nephew, but he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Therefore, in a previous verse, she said, Alakshyam sarva bhutanam antar bahir avashtitam. You are not seen by ordinary men, although you are everywhere, inside and outside. In another verse, also she said, Na lakshyase mudha drishya. Fools and rascals cannot see you. This indicates that Kunti saw him. Unless she were able to also see Krishna as he is, how could she say, Na lakshyase mudha drishya? She also said, Prakritaha param. You are transcendental to this material creation. Now here also in this verse, Kunti continues to express herself with humility. This humility is very good in devotional service. Therefore, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, Shunadapi sunichana tarorapi sahishana. One should be more tolerant than the tree and humbler than the grass to make progress in spiritual life. This is necessary because for one who is living in this material world, there will be so many disturbances, just as if one were traveling on the ocean. One cannot expect a very peaceful situation on the ocean. Even a big ship may also be unsteady, and at any moment there may be tumultuous waves. Similarly, in this material world, we should always expect danger. One cannot expect a very peaceful life within this material world. The Shastra, the Vedic literature says, Param param yad viparam, Bhagavad Gita 10:14-58. At every step there is danger, but if one becomes a devotee, then one can escape. Mayamitam tarantite. If one takes to Krishna consciousness, in the beginning there will be many disturbances caused by Maya, the material energy of illusion. Maya will test us to see how firmly we are fixed in Krishna consciousness. Because she is also an agent of Krishna, she does not allow anyone the freedom to disturb Krishna. Therefore, she tests very rigidly to see whether we have taken to Krishna consciousness to disturb Krishna or are actually serious. That is Maya's business. So in the beginning, there will be tests by Maya, and we shall feel so many disturbances while making progress regularly as prescribed. Then we shall remain steady. If we neglect these principles, Maya will capture us immediately. Maya is always ready. We are in the ocean, and at any moment we may be disturbed. Therefore, one who is not disturbed at all is called a Paramahamsa.
Okay, so let's just do a recap there. So just for the immediate, and then we can go back for a recap. So it is true that in my own, like even the statement, especially the newcomers, it's true. There is, Prabhupada used to say in those early years, and Srila Maharaj, Srila Govinda Maharaj, that when the initial seed is planted, generally there's a lot of fertilizer that's placed around that seed. So an incredible amount of inspiration, divine influence will come into our conscious, into our quantum. And it's just sort of like, you know, when they say a rocket, it's like it has its, in order to get off the ground of gravity, it needs a huge amount of fuel. And then once it's sort of in movement, then it's up to the devotee to sort of consciously surrender and move. So it's true. We used to always express, the newcomers, they get so much in the beginning. And then as they are sort of in their trajectory, that's when the Maya will come to test. Like you've initially made your trajectory toward the higher. Are you sure you want this? And then there will be what Srila Maharaj calls the antithesis that comes against to test, check, and test the sincerity. And that comes in many different ways, of course. I remember many years ago, like people used to say, there's Maya, outside Maya, and then there's the Krishna Maya, which is the Maya that comes inside in the form of relativity, bickering, relative projection. All of those things can happen inside. Politics, we know, enters different missions, and there are different stages by which we have to pass through to see, to move to the higher stage. And then going back, Queen Kunti, this overview of slokas there relating to the different coverings and conditional states of those in contraction, the less intelligent, the Sudras, working class. So you can be in any position in a covered relative position, but the potential is always there. But the point Prabhupada's overviewing with all those ancient slokas is that through bhakti, whatever your position, you'll come from the asleep state or the less intelligent state to the most intelligent state through bhakti. And so the Veda is giving, some constructive criticism to the contracted state, the asleep state, or, as the Irish say, you're beside yourself. So one who's locked in the matrix, who is asleep, is less intelligent, and then those who are, by the mercy of Krishna and Guru, are awakening, they'll become more intelligent. And that intelligence is given by Krishna and the knowledge of the higher to draw everyone to the self-realized state. So the more intelligent or the higher intelligence is that I'm not the designation. I'm not Chinese or American man. I'm not woman. I'm not a cat or a dog. Of course, the cats or the dogs may not realize that, but we'll view them that, they're not just cats. If they're around the devotees, they're also devotees. So everything can be contracted and everything can be expanded depending on the choice you make. So the masks that we wear are not who we are, but obviously in this world, everyone deeply identifies with the Sarvopadi Vinirmuktam, the different masks. So Queen Kunti, of course, is Paramahamsa, so she's Vaishnavi. She's in a perfected state of consciousness as a queen, and is relaying all these instructions and being fully surrendered. She is now as qualified as anyone, So there's Maharajas and Maharanis. So the perfected stage of Krishna consciousness is available to everybody, alien, human, male, female, and even in many cases the animal, even though generally locked within the instinctual sort of lower eat, sleep, make, defend, but they also get chance. So even their conditioning can be shifted. And there's cases in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where the Shivananda Shain was a highly advanced self-realized being in Mahaprabhu's pastime, and his dog attained the spiritual kingdom because the dog of Shivananda Shain used to eat the prasad remnants of Lord Chaitanya. So even though he's in that karmic cycle as an animal, he got the association of the self-realized. So bhakti is so powerful, it can turn, even sociopath, psychopath into Paramahamsa if they take the medicine. So a very contracted consciousness can be cleansed. And that, who has the power to do that? Only God. And so this Maha Mantra, the Veda, will transform. So from Asura to Deva, and even beyond Deva. So when we look at the universe, it's higher planets, middle planets, lower planets. So wherever you are, whatever position, Bhakti, the connection with the Dara, the current, will transform you out of the, as like a lost soul into an awakened soul. So this becomes the message, Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means one who takes the milk and separates the water. So the Paramahamsa sees everyone as a daughter and son of God, including tree, any entity. Whereas those in the matrix, they discriminate and think higher, lower, left, right. But in the spiritual vision, everyone is a son, a daughter and son, or a son and daughter of the supreme love. So once the conditioning clears, we're all family and all loved by the divine, by God. It's only those in lower states of consciousness who are seeing from the relative perspective. So, you know, like I'm a communist, you're a capitalist, so we're going to go to war. And of course, you know, not that we want to reflect on the geopolitics, but they're on the brink of that now, the Chinese. They may decide to, may do, it's, who knows, but the controversial territory of Taiwan, they may decide to go to war and pull the whole world into war. That's possible. So they're thinking our ideology of communism is perfect, and those capitalists we have to crush. And Taiwan, that's our country. But we know Taiwan is Krishna's country. It's God's country. And the capitalists aren't the enemy. They're our brothers and sisters. And the capitalists should be thinking the communists aren't our enemy. They're our brothers and sisters. But you see, in the material world, everyone is fighting and scrapping because they're seeing the duality. So bhakti will take us beyond the duality to the non-dual, to the transcendental, by which we see all as brothers and sisters. And in that state, of course, there's harmony. So, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Oh.
I did it again. That's so funny.
Eternal.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. I was wondering, Alicia, if you would like to read, because you look so engaged and you've been smiling so much. Do you feel like reading? I haven't heard you read before.
Thank you, but I am a terrible reader. But I do have a question. And it is, why do we have to be tested, though? Wouldn't Krishna know our hearts and know that we're there in our heart?
Okay, well, you know, so that I don't mind being personal about my own journey. I'd started this journey as a young man, at least appearing like a man. And have I been tested on my journey? Many times. Countless. So why is this? It's because love. So the way I can give an analogy, Prabhupada gave a similar analogy. When a young girl meets a young boy, or a young boy meets a young girl, if there is sort of the prospect of a deep commitment, a loving relationship, we will test each other. Will you be faithful? Will you break my heart? Possibly, possibly, in inverted commas. So in our own way, in the human play, we're testing each other in friendships and beloved relationships. Like if you think to marry somebody, or you have an employer that you want to work for, you check to make sure, am I going to get paid at the end of the week? It's like, so there's this checking out. So this testing is love, Krishna checking us out. What is our motive? Are we really here for serving the higher? So he tests us through the Maya to test our commitment to really, do you really want this? Because if you don't, hey, I've got this whole Pinocchio land for you. The carnival where you can hang out, you can do your own thing. You won't have me, but is that what you want? Because see, remember this, when we came out from the Brahma Jyoti, we chose the carnival, we chose the exploitation, we chose the separation. So as we're progressing in bhakti, Maya goes, are you sure you want Krishna? You don't want to go back to your separation again? Because remember, like, that's what you chose initially. Are you sure? And if you go, no, I want this Krishna consciousness. So the Maya tests, the goddess tests, but ultimately, if you're sincere, you'll pass the tests. So in other words, we're being checked out to make sure, ultimately it's this: Krishna will not have his heart broken. So once he opens his love for you, he will not be betrayed. There's no divorce or separation with the Godhead. So once he gives himself to you fully, which he will, not only he, but Radha Krishna will give themselves both to you, Radha Krishna, because God is feminine, masculine. They will not have their hearts broken. So everyone entering into that eternal plane, they're in love forever. So the Maya will test, are you sure you're all in? And so they are the different stages. So we're tested. And that's why, Christ was tested in the desert for 40 days. So the higher has its process by which, once you marry the higher, if there's any thought of deviation or wandering off or divorce or separation, you won't be allowed entrance. So we're tested. Now we do the same thing here. We calculate. So the Maya is the process of the filtering to make sure that we're in with proper integrity and sincerity. And another point, it's true that in Bhakti Yoga, many will come, but some look like they're coming for the love of the higher. They're not. They're trading. They're coming for some pride, position. It's true. Prabhupada said even some will come because they want power and money, but looking like devotee. So they have some attraction, but it's still very mixed. So then they stay in the lower rank. And that's called 3 stages of devotee approaching Krishna. Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari. So Kanishta Adhikari is materialistic devotee. So chanting and Haribol, but very much still mixing with separation and, mixing with lower tendency, exploitative tendency, but still some feeling for Krishna. The middle stage, called the Madhyama stage, is where the devotion is developing, where they're really, like, every day trying to improve. They're wanting to wash off the mixing of the Maya, the separate interest. And the highest devotee is all chips in, 24/7. There's no other interest but full love for the higher, and then the higher loves in reciprocation. There's no material contamination or separate interest. Everything for the higher. And even in the dream, they are serving the higher. That means there's not a second gap, not even 1 second of deviation from love for the higher. That's, of course, the most advanced Vaishnava. So we start generally as mixed, from alloyed on the way to unalloyed. So the masters, they're training us to go from the mixed position to the unmixed, to the pure. And so in that process, that's the testing. So Krishna tests, and then the Maya's testing, and it's through a scientific system. And there are symptoms explained in the Veda of where you are. And you'll hear me say this term. Gurudev once said to us, you will understand everyone's position through their question their expression and their movement. Everyone will reveal their stage of consciousness in bhakti. But everyone, from the perspective of the higher Vaishnava, they view everyone with loving glance, and they want to see everyone improve and come up. That's the nature of so the most advanced devotees want to see everyone improve and come up into higher levels of Krishna consciousness, love consciousness. So love loves love. So love tests, do you really love love, or do you love alcohol, or do you love power, or do you love something within the dream? So before bhakti, most of us are just wandering, and we love the separate interest. Many love power, like they're running for power, money, many things. But inherently, we are all devotees and servants of God, but we've become distracted, and we're serving the self-interest or the separate interest in separation. So we will be tested, of course. But in the association of the advanced devotee, bhakti is very easy, because in their presence, their love for the higher, you'll be swept up in their love. It's true. That's why in the company of like these heavyweight masters, Krishna consciousness is very easy, because they're emanating that love. And when you come into their field, you get captured by that, and you feel that higher taste, higher wave, higher field. But then in your own stage, there will be some interest for the higher, but it's always improved by those more advanced in love. So love loves love. Love wants to increase your love. So whatever love you have, it honors and respects and wants to see that increase. And eventually that love will come to full-blown love. You'll be perfected in love through the agents of love.
Can I tell you that it actually kind of makes me nervous, because I just went this year through brain surgery, and to me that was a humongous test.
Yeah.
And I allowed myself to be guided, although I had not per se been into the Krishna consciousness, or but I knew it was a work of God. So the fact that I have made the decision to be where I am today, and I will continue to be tested, it makes me kind of nervous, because I don't want another brain surgery.
Maybe not that type of test. Maybe a test. But the testing is there, but it is true. In saying that, Krishna is very kind, and one devotee, another thing to add to this, because it's a very big subject about being tested. One devotee who I know very well, and I love him, and I've known him for many years, he, loves the path of bhakti, practices everything, but he had this very heavy drug addiction tendency, and most of his adult life, he was born in South Carolina, came from a troubled family. His uncle was a heroin addict and many crazy things. Anyway, in his early 20s, living in California, he picked up a heroin addiction, which is terrible, I know. Of course, if anyone, my brother is a heroin addict, recovering heroin addict. So he came forward for initiation. Gurudev went, look, we'll try to avoid, because it's not recommended. Anyway, he took the beads and he became an initiated devotee. I won't give his name because we're being recorded. We want to keep privacy. And so he struggled on and off. And I used to see him in India, and he'd go, Ashraya, I'm 7 months clean. I haven't smoked, and I haven't injected, and it's been really good. I'm on the beach, I'm chanting, I'm with Gurudev. And then the shadow would again get him. And then we'd see him, like reports, he's in Calcutta or he's in Delhi, and he's back buying the heroin, and chasing the dragon, they call it, chasing the dragon. And there was one many devotees wanted to oust him from the ashram. He can't be here. He's fallen. He's out of control. He's on the drugs. What's he doing here? He should go back to America and live on the streets. And Gurudev went, no. He said, if you oust him, oust everybody. If you're going to push him out, push everyone out, because everyone's got an addiction to the Maya, to the phenomena, to the dream. His addiction and attachment to the dream is the drug, but you have attachment to this and that. Everyone has attachment until they're enlightened. And so he said, as long as he doesn't do the drugs inside the ashram, then he can stay, because he's trying for the great path. He's trying. And I always used to, give him affection and encourage him. And I would protect him from the critics, the people that wanted to push him out. Anyway, one day he was in India, Navadvip, in the ashram in West Bengal, and he asked this question. It's a famous question. It's taped. And he said, because he's got a southern drawl, from South Carolina, he goes, Gurudev, I'm saying, like, it seems impossible. You can come to Krishna consciousness. And it's like, and he was expressing how it seems impossible. How am I ever going to become free from this? It's like a ghost catching me, And Gurudev said, yeah, it's no doubt, it's rare. But he said, Prabhu, you just keep trying, keep fighting and keep trying. And he said, sometimes it's enough that you're still there. And eventually Krishna will take away the addiction. He'll release you from that ghost. And that was, like 10 years ago I heard that. And for most of his adult life, he's in his 40s now, he was a serious heroin addict. And he kept going, kept chanting, kept practicing. Anyway, now reports 5 years clean. The ghost left. Why? He kept chanting. He kept practicing. So the master is wanting, we're all addicts of some sort until we're enlightened. So there is gross Maya and then there's the subtle Maya. But it shows that, you'll be tested, but your love for the higher, your love for God will see you through. And eventually you'll be released. It's true. It takes time. Even lifetimes can take. But for his particular case, that ghost left him. It's a heavy ghost. I used to see my brother in all sorts of serious states. It's very sad to watch that, But God, Krishna consciousness can pull us all out from all sorts of addiction. Yeah. So, like, the good side is that Bhakti is powerful. Bhakti will cure us. Love will heal us. Love will purify. Maya, millions of births we've been addicted to this dream. Millions of births. Addicted to isms and schisms, I'm this, I'm that, In my bloodline, the Irish, we fight with the British. The British are our enemy, and the British say the Irish are our enemy. We've had generations of identifying as this and this war. But we're not British or Irish. We're brothers in arms. Lay down your arms and take to love, consciousness, bhakti, and then we'll all, Protestant and Catholic, will be together chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And no doubt I will, if I can, go back there and make that happen. Try to make that happen. When I first went to Ireland, the conflict between, the Irish turning on each other was so strong. I was in a car going across the border from the south to the north. And I was watching everyone in the car that I was in being targeted by a red dot over their forehead and their chest, which was a British sniper soldier pointing inside the vehicle of everyone crossing the border. So that was in 1988, 89. So that conflict of the dream, I'm British, I'm Protestant, Ulster says no, the IRA, the paramilitaries, that conflict, fighting everywhere in the Mayak dream. But Bhakti, Krishna consciousness, will bring us into the universal awareness that we are brothers and sisters. So many tests, Maya. Whether it's addiction to identity of social system, political system, fighting nation, fighting other nation, man fighting beast, animal, killing animal, all these things, all terrible things. So Bhakti will purify God consciousness. Hare Krishna. Anyway, that's a long expressed answer, reflection. Any other comments there? Hare Krishna. Great question though. Why test? There can be many discussions about the tests, many types of tests. Gurus are being tested heavily. Tests amongst the guru level, that's also very, very intense test, I can say. Many tests. Tests on all levels. But if you're sincere and you're guided properly by an expert master, you'll cross the test easily and be promoted to perfection. That's true. Queen Kunti is guiding us. She's an expert. Maharajas and Maharanis, they can guide us to perfection. These instructions of Queen Kunti, if you take them fully to heart, this divine queen, she'll take you to the liberated position. In fact, you'll be free forever.
So what will be tests for the masters? What?
Oh, that's that. Now we're extending into another.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a big question and lots of answers coming to that. We can maybe go into that another time. I mean, I'm happy.
Okay.
If everyone else in the group is happy to continue with the theme of test, I'm happy. But if we want to keep reading, yeah, up to you.
Maharaj, I had a thought that maybe we can start collecting questions like that because I think there's been some expression that open forums have been missed. So it could be really nice if everybody starts collecting little questions like that and we can have a real dedicated discussion day. But that's obviously just coming from me. I'd love to hear more from the book. We're almost at the end of this chapter, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so then, let's do that then, because many questions will come up. But no, we'll continue with the theme. Yeah, let's go to the end of the chapter.
Great. I'm happy to take this this last page. Kunti Devi therefore says, Tata Paramahamsanam. You are meant to be understood by the Paramahamsas. The word Parama means ultimate, and Hamsa means swan. So Paramahamsa means the perfect swan. If we give a swan milk mixed with water, the swan will take the milk and leave aside the water. Similarly, this material world is made of two natures, the inferior nature and the superior nature. The superior nature means spiritual life, and the inferior nature is material life. Thus, a person who gives up the material part of this world and takes only the spiritual part is called Paramahamsa. But Maharaj's Paramahamsa sort of like quite a high title, high concept, like it's not...
very high. It's perfection, right. Perfected state. Perfection. So our masters, we refer to them as Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Varyastatara Sri Srimad Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Paramahamsa. Srila Sridhar Maharaj Paramahamsa.
I get you. Okay.
Yeah. It means very advanced. Highly advanced. Actually, we can't conceive that level, but it's coming. They're training us to become Paramahamsa also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for anybody that might have missed their place, we're on page 44 halfway down, which is page 9 of the book, page 44 of the PDF. One should know that the activities of the body are due to the soul within the body. That is the real fact. The body is only the outward covering. Similarly, one should know that Krishna is the real center of all activities, and one who knows this is a Paramahamsa. Thus, Bhakti Yoga is for the Paramahamsa, one who knows that Krishna is the central fact. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. I am the source of everything. Everything emanates from me. So one who knows, not only theoretically but practically, that Krishna is the cause of all causes, one who is convinced of this is a Paramahamsa. Kunti Devi says, you are meant for the Paramahamsas, not for the rascals and fools. You are meant for the Paramahamsas and Munis. The word Muninam refers to those who are thoughtful or to mental speculators. And the word Amalatmanam refers to one who has no dirty things in his heart. The heart of a materialistic person is full of dirty things. What are those dirty things? Lust and greed. All materialistic persons are lusty and greedy, and therefore their hearts are understood to be full of dirty things. But Amalatmanam refers to those who are freed from these two contaminations. Bhakti Yoga is meant for those whose hearts are cleansed, not for the lusty and greedy. Of course, those who are lusty and greedy may try to advance, and gradually they may do so. But once one is situated in Bhakti Yoga, there is no more lust or greed. Viraktir Anyatra Cha, Bhagavad Gita 11:2-42. This is the test. When one is free from lusty desires and greed, then he is situated in Bhakti Yoga and is actually a Paramahamsa. Kunti Devi humbly submits, you are meant for the Paramahamsas and Munis, those who are cleansed in heart and are engaged in Bhakti Yoga. But what are we? We are simply women. We are in a lower class. How can we understand you? Although she understands everything, she still takes the position of an ordinary woman and says, how can I understand you? This is humility.
Yeah, so this is the phenomena that one who is in that consciousness doesn't see themselves in that consciousness because the humility. So, they would say, oh, Prabhupada, you're a great master, you're this, but he would say, I'm just an ordinary man from Calcutta, but I'm following an extraordinary great master, my Gurudev. So in the humility, because when you're free, there's no false construct, there's no big thinking, there's no ego, false ego. There's the ego that God is great and I am small. And even though that fully awakened soul is now utilized by the higher, they always see themselves as ordinary. So they're walking amongst the human, looking like human, but not. So this is a phenomena. It's like, it's the play of that if you're in touch with a very big thing, you always consider yourself very small, like a tidal wave is in front of you. But those who, in the name of religiosity and spiritual enlightenment, think they're very big, they're actually in touch with something very small. So if you detect great pride and ego in the name of spirituality, it's an indication that someone's in touch with something very small. And so, even Prabhupada expressed himself, he said, I don't have any qualification to serve my master. So Krishna arranged for all of you to come and assist me, to help me make that offering. That's his humility. He actually thought that way, fully. So his offering to his guru, who left in 1936-37, was when he came to the West finally, he said, I've collected all of you as flowers and I'm offering you to my master. So you've helped me to please my master. Yeah. So always this conception, we are only instrument It's actually the work of the higher. Even this work we're doing here, this is the work of the higher. And if we're open, the player will play the played. Yeah, so love drives the bus. We're only aspiring instrument. So everything that's done in regard to the cleansing, the washing, the advancement, the enlightenment, that's Krishna. We're only aspiring instrument to allow that to flow, work through us. So conduit. So the perfect guru is a perfect conduit, and the students are conduits coming in and will be trained to ultimately come from mixed conduit to full pure conduit. It is true, sometimes there is a rare student that will be very advanced from the very inception of coming into the fields. Quite rare, but still it's possible. So this one point, just to go back, and this is interesting because it says one who comes to Bhakti Yoga is freed from lust and greed, but that's the high level Bhakti Yoga. No, most come in and move through the 3-stage, Kanishta Adhika, Madhyam Adhika, Uttam. So lust and greed will be there, but because of the higher taste through bhakti, gradually you'll lose your attachment to the dream, the phenomena, the exploitative tendency, and you'll become purified gradually. But still, in saying that, like in Melbourne, famous question that devotee asking, how long will it take to surrender to Krishna? Because, my own mind, I'm filled with all sorts of lust, greed, anger, distraction to the Maya. And he said, depending, if you fully surrender 1 minute, 1 second, but can be many lifetimes, you see. Depends on us in the sense of our choice. Like today, you see your mind, you can take your mind and consciousness to the path of bhakti, or you can allow it to wander off into the exploitative tendency, separate interest tendency. So there's God interest tendency and separate interest tendency. Hare Krishna. So many stages. But from the very beginning, Maha Mantra comes, it will make its change, shift. It will inspire and invoke our devotional tendency. So, in other words, bhakti is training us to stop serving the devil. Now we have to serve the Lord. The devil is anything that's separate interest, that's not in the interest of the higher. Separate interest. That's a big discussion, even to analyze what is separate interest. There's gross separate interest. So animal killing, animal eating is considered separate interested nature, not in harmony with the higher. That's one. What are some other? Many. So even the Vedas will give vast analysis of what is separate interest also. So anyway, and another point, gurus can be captured by the Maya, tested, because maybe some separate interest, subtle. So many stages, but sincerity and guidance of the heavyweights, this is why we're always referencing the experts. They will help us to quickly progress nicely toward enlightenment. So from the unenlightened state to the enlightened state. From budding consciousness, blooming consciousness, fully bloomed consciousness, like the lotus opening up. Hare Krishna. Yay.
Wonderful.
Yes.
We're coming up on our 15-minute mark till the end. Well, shall we read a little
Yeah,
further?
I think so. Yeah, let's go a little
Awesome.
more into the...
So for all our other members who are off video today, would anybody like to volunteer to read? We're on page 46, chapter 4. If not, I'm happy to, but offering the stage out. Cool. We're on the mute train today. Chapter 4, approaching Krishna, the all-pervading truth. Krishnaya Vasudeva Devaki Nandanaya cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Srimad Bhagavatam 1:8-21. The Lord, being thus unapproachable by any material assets, out of unbounded and causeless mercy, descends on the earth as he is in order to show his special mercy upon his unalloyed devotees and to diminish the upsurges of the demoniac persons. Queen Kunti specifically adores the incarnation or descent of Lord Krishna above all other incarnations, because in this particular incarnation he is more approachable. In the Rama incarnation, he remained a king's son from his very childhood, but in the incarnation of Krishna, although he was the son of a king, he at once left the shelter of his real father and mother, King Vasudeva and Queen Devaki. Am I pronouncing her name correctly,
Yeah,
Maharaj?
Devaki, yeah, Devaki.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Just after his disappearance, and went to the lap of Yashoda Mai to play the part of an ordinary cowherd boy in the blessed Rajabhumi, which is very sanctified because of his childhood pastimes. Therefore, Lord Krishna is more merciful than Lord Ram. He was undoubtedly very kind to Kunti's brother Vasudeva and the family. Had he not become the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, Queen Kunti could not claim him to be her nephew and thus address Krishna in parental affection. But Nanda and Yashoda are more fortunate because they could relish the Lord's childhood pastimes, which are more attractive than all other pastimes. Could I just ask a question, Maharaj?
Yes.
Does this mean, so Krishna incarnated multiple times as Krishna, so once as the child, but once as the son of, so he's got two different sets of parents here. I'm just wondering if that's within the same life?
Yeah,
or...
he's got his, so Vasudeva and Devaki, and then Nanda and Yashoda are the foster parents that fostered him. So he had two sets, and that's a whole Leela. It may describe something of that. Yeah, so two sets, but actually, so this is an inconceivable concept. So in the spiritual plane, Krishna will manifest unlimitedly to unlimited parents, if that is your calling in relationship. So this is, so for instance, the Radha Krishna, so those who want to be a friend of Krishna, Krishna will manifest multiple unlimited forms to accommodate the unlimited friends that want to interact with him as a friend. So in the spiritual dimension, all of that's possible. So the infinite, what is impossible becomes possible there. So the five relationships, so Devaki and Nanda Yashoda, they were in the relationship of parental. So Krishna appeared in Brajabhumi or Vrindavan to ultimately come here to fight and get rid of the demons, but also to show his Leela to attract the conditioned souls. That your chance to come back to me is here. But especially with Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago, he specifically came to give the Maha Mantra, which is non-different from Krishna, to attract us back to the spiritual plane. But it's true, yeah, Krishna has two sets of parents in the Leela.
Okay, great, thanks. There is no parallel to his childhood pastimes as exhibited at Rajabhumi, which are the prototypes of his eternal affairs in the original Krishna Loka, described as Chintamani Dharma in the Brahma Samhita. Lord Sri Krishna descended himself at Rajabhumi with all his transcendental entourage and paraphernalia. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore confirmed that no one is as fortunate as the residents of Rajabhumi, and specifically the cowherd girls who dedicated their everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. His pastimes with Nanda and Yashoda and his pastimes with the cowherd men, and especially with the cowherd boys and the cows, have caused him to be known as Govinda. Lord Krishna as Govinda is more inclined to the Brahmanas and the cows, indicating thereby that human prosperity depends more on these two items, namely Brahminical culture and cow protection. Lord Krishna is never satisfied where these are lacking. In the beginning of her prayers, Kunti Devi said, Namasye Purasam Tvadyam Ishvarama Prakrate Param. I offer my obeisances unto the person Purusha, who is Prakrate Param, beyond this material manifestation. Thus, in the beginning, Kunti Devi gave us the understanding that God is the supreme Purusha, the supreme person. He is not impersonal, he is a person, but he is not a person of this material world or this material creation, and he does not have a material body. This is to be understood. The poor fund of knowledge held by the impersonalists cannot accommodate how the supreme absolute truth can be a person, because whenever they think of a person, they think of a person of this material world. That is their defect. Why should God be a person of this material world? Therefore, in the beginning, Kunti Devi cleared away this misunderstanding by saying that the Lord is Prakrite Param, beyond this material creation. Yet he is a person, and now, by the grace of Kunti, we can understand that this supreme person, although alakshyam, invisible, has now visibly appeared as Krishna. Kunti Devi says, Krishnaya Vasudevaya. The word Vasudeva is sometimes understood to mean the all-pervading. The impersonalists have this conception of Vasudeva, and therefore Kunti Devi points out that Vasudeva, the all-pervading, is Krishna. Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam hridese Arjuna tistati. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is present in everybody's heart, everyone's heart. Thus, he is all-pervading. Krishna, the original person, exists in three features: as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as the all-pervading Paramatma, the Supersoul, and as the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Those who are interested in Bhakti Yoga have no interest in the impersonal Brahman effulgence, which is for common men. If one were an inhabitant of the sun, what interest would he have in the sunshine? Wow. That would be most significant for him. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life are not interested in the impersonal Brahman effulgence. Rather, they are interested in Purusha, the supreme person, Vasudeva. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, this realization of the supreme person takes place after many, many births. Bahunama Janmanam Ante. The Jnanis, the impersonalists who are attached to the Brahman effulgence, try to understand the absolute truth by dint of their knowledge, but they do not know that their knowledge is imperfect and limited, whereas Krishna, the absolute truth, is unlimited. We cannot approach the unlimited by our limited knowledge. That is not possible. By the grace of devotees like Kunti Devi, we can understand that the all-pervading absolute truth, Vasudeva Paramatma, is present as Krishna, Krishnaya Vasudevaya. This realization of Vasudeva is not possible for impersonalists very easily. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:19, Maharaj, would you mind taking this sloka, please?
Yes. Bahunam Jamanam Manti Jnanavamam Prapajyante Vasudeva Savarmiti Sa Mahatma Sadulabha.
Thank you. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. The word Mahatma means broad-minded. One who cannot understand Krishna is not broad-minded, but cripple-minded. If one becomes broad-minded, then by the grace of Krishna, one can understand Krishna. The process of understanding Krishna is Sevon Mukha, by rendering service. Is it Sevon Mukh or Mukha?
Yeah, Sevon Mukha, yeah, Sevon Mukha. And then the verse, Sevon Mukhi Jiva Dao, Sevon Mukhi. So Mukha and Mukhi.
Mhm. Okay. Sevon mukhi hi jivadao. Realization of Vasudeva is possible by rendering service, beginning with the tongue. The tongue has two functions, to vibrate and to taste. So if one repeatedly hears and vibrates the Hare Krishna mantra and tastes prasad, food offered to Krishna, by this very simple method, one will realize Vasudeva, Krishna. Krishna will reveal himself. It is not that by our endeavor alone we can understand Krishna, but our endeavor in loving service will make us qualified. And then Krishna will reveal himself. Svayam eva spuratye adaha. Krishna is very much anxious to take us back home, back to Godhead, but we are stubborn and do not wish to go. Therefore, he is always looking for the opportunity to take us back home. He is just like an affectionate father. When a son who is a rascal leaves his father and goes loitering in the street with no food and no shelter and suffers very much, the father is always anxious to bring the boy back home. Similarly, Krishna is the Supreme Father, and all the living entities within this material world are exactly like misled children of a wealthy man who have left home to loiter in the street. Therefore, the greatest benefit one can bestow upon one's fellow human being is to give him Krishna consciousness. These are such powerful lines. No kind of material profit will satisfy the living entity, but if he is given Krishna consciousness, he will actually be satisfied. A bewildered boy loitering in the street may be reminded, "My dear boy, why are you suffering so much? You are the son of a very rich man who has so much property. Why are you loitering in the street?" And if he comes to understand, "Yes, I am the son of this important man. Why shall I loiter in the street?" he may then return home. Therefore, the best service is to inform those who have forgotten Krishna. You are part and parcel of Krishna. You are the son of Krishna, who is full in all opulence. Why are you rotting in this material world? This is the greatest service. Maya, illusion, is very strong, but it is the duty of every devotee of Krishna to try to enlighten everyone to Krishna consciousness. Kunti Devi, for example, first said that although Krishna, the Supreme Person, is within and without, to rascals and fools, he is invisible. Therefore, she points out, here is the Lord, Krishna. Krishna is the all-pervading Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishnaya Vasudevaya. But he is very much pleased to become the son of Devaki, Devaki Nandanaya. Devaki Nandana is also mentioned in the Atharva Veda. Krishna comes as Devaki Nandana and his father is Nandagopa, Nanda Maharaj. Krishna likes to be related with his devotees who act as father and mother. Although here in this material world we try to make our relationship with the Supreme by accepting him as father, Krishna wants to become the son. He takes pleasure in becoming the son of a devotee. Ordinary men want God as their father, but that is not very pleasing to Krishna because the son always bothers the father. Give me this, give me this, give me this. Of course, Krishna has immense potencies by which he can supply as much as everyone wants. Eko bahunam yo vidhati kaman. He supplies food to the elephant and he supplies food to the ant. So why not to the human being? But rascals do not know this. They work like asses day and night to find bread, and if they go to church, there they pray, "Give me bread." They are concerned only with the bread problem. Although the living entity is the son of the richest, most opulent person, he has created a bread problem. This is called ignorance. He thinks, if I do not solve my bread problem, if I do not drive my trucks day and night, how can I live? This is the nonsense of our modern civilization. Where is there a bread problem? Krishna can supply unlimited amounts of bread. There are thousands of elephants in Africa, and Krishna supplies food to them. So if he can supply food to the elephants, why not to the human beings? The Bhagavatam therefore says, don't waste your time with this bread problem. Shall we pause here for today? We've come up on our...
Yeah, no, that's good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's you know, incredible, isn't it? That we got the cart before the horse. First the horse, then the cart. First seek ye the kingdom of God, all other things shall be bestowed upon you. It's, we see, this is it. I did it my way. And how's it working out for you? Human civilization. Have you worked out how to be happy and in harmony and to reach your potential? Well, no. So let's try God's way. It's like, let's give it a shot. Let's see. The world showed me, you know, the way of Frank Sinatra, and then meeting the agents of God, they went, well, look, Rowan was my name. Do you want to try this way? And I went, okay, well, the world's only showing me, you know, all sorts of pain, suffering, and contraction. So, yeah, let's give it a shot. 1 week later, 1 month later, 1 year later, clear difference. The life of devotion and the path of bhakti and God consciousness and the life before. I just need to pick up the phone and talk to my brothers, sisters who are living in that dream. And it's sad, it's madness. They're living amongst ghosts, heavy ghosts. And like many, but this is all here for them. Why, you know, whether it's your own blood, it's all beings out there, like every day eating death, living in death, living in ghost land. It's sad, but still God is, you know, as you like. If you're free, you can choose the shadow or the light, fear or love. Anyway, we're very fortunate that we have, you know, this chance. Love is the way. All you need is love. Yeah, so compliance and surrender and submission to love is the greatest thing. But everyone's submitting and bowing down to the opposite. Bowing down to corruption and the deception. They're bowing and being submissive to the wrong thing. Srila Maharaj once said, we think independence is our friend. Rarely it is our enemy. We have to learn to live together with others, under God, under love. But independence from love and light, it's a nightmare on Elm Street, if you've ever seen the movie. Freddy Krueger's running loose. Hare Krishna.
What a wonderful class today.
Yay.
Super potent. Yeah, that was amazing. I really enjoyed everything you shared with us.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed what we read today. So thanks everyone for coming, and we'll be meeting again next week.
Next week. What's
Thank you. Thank you. It was very nice. Very, very nice. As always.
Yay. All right. Well, look, always a pleasure. And everyone have a great weekend. And yeah, and always, you know, like you read, of course, in the book club, but feel free always to read independent and chant the Maha Mantra. Chant in the morning, in the night, happy, sad, anytime, chant. My experience has always been any connection with the chanting, it will adjust everything, shift everything. Yeah, it will put us right in our consciousness. It will clear it. It's so potent. So yeah, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, and be happy. That's what it's the path, what's offering for the path. This morning I woke up at like 3:15. And I get up and I have a quick shower and then chant on the mala, and then hours pass, you know. It's like, but it has such an effect on the consciousness. And then the day is, you're carried with that wave, and whatever different things come up or challenges, everything gets adjusted. It's mystical. Bhakti is mystical. Hare Krishna.
Dandavas.
Dandavas.
I would love to say that I really love the flow of when people have questions, because you're here and present. And now I have the PDF of Queen Kunti, so I can read it anytime and catch up.
Awesome.
So I appreciate the flow of questions in the moment. I just wanted to add that for thought on being here.
Yeah. Dandavas. Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's this is why book clubs are great, because we read plus there's reflections, and the reflections are the questions. So it's like we're involved in the reading, because sometimes if it's one person reading the questions at the end, I know for many have had that experience, you can wander off. But when it's interactive and living time as a group reading, it often is assimilated better. The spirit of the subject, which is transcendental, is absorbed better, perhaps. That's been the feeling. Hare Krishna. All right, beautiful souls. Big hugs. Lots of love. And yeah, let's meet again soon. No doubt we're in separation again from each other, and then we meet again for more seva, more service. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Have a beautiful
Dandavats.
weekend.
Yay.
Dandavats.
Dandavats.
Thanks.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Maharaj.
Yay.